Firstly, I just want to apologize for the audio issues. They are now fixed and I can now continue video editing. Anyway, back to the video. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 7 of All the Mod 7 to the Sky. In last episode, I checked out some Forbidden Arcanus machines, mainly the Hephaestus Forge. This thing is used to craft some of the higher tier materials and special items from Forbidden Arcanus. I also checked out Industrial Foregoing and build fluid extractors, latex processing unit, dissolution chambers, automated pink slime. This has been running for a while. And I also built 3 laser drills in the Twilight Forest, the Other, and the End. Enough said about things which I have done. Now it's time for things which I haven't done and things which I need to do. One of the mods which I need to begin is called Ars Nouveau. So to begin Ars Nouveau, let's just click this. We'll follow through the quest. So we need a spell book. One spell book. Next we need to get archwood logs. To get the archwood logs, we'll be using this market again. I have used this market once before to actually get the Edelwood trees for Forbidden Arcanus. Now it's time to grow some archwood trees. Next thing which I need to craft is an imbuing chamber. By the looks of it, this is how you craft some of the special items in Ars Nouveau. This generates source passively, except it's quite slow, as you can probably see just by crafting. This is crafting a source gem. It's quite slow. Until I remembered that I have an acceleration wand, so it's not slow anymore because I can use that to speed it up. Now that I have source gems, I'm going to use these to actually set up a source supply. To do so, I'm going to be using a Vitalic source link. This will generate source every time a mob or animal dies in its range. It will produce some source. So without further ado, let's build a mob farm to start generating us some source. The mob spawner which I've decided to go with is similar to the mob spawner in Industrial Foregoing. It's a 7x7 internal or a 9x9 external. Dreadful Dirt is in the middle to spawn hostile mobs. Then I'm just going to use some fans to push the mobs on top of some spikes from mob grinding utilities to start generating us some source. I'm now going to start working on making an arcane enchanter. But before that, I need to craft up some arcane stone. This is going to be required to actually craft up some arcane pedestals for the enchanter. I next need to make an enchanting apparatus and an arcane core. The arcane enchanter is now finished. This means that I can craft up one of these Drigme charms. To get the Drigme to spawn, I used delightful dirt from mob grinding utilities. After that, dropping a Wilden Horn on the ground, the Drigme will collect it and turn into Drigme shards. Now it's just a case of gathering the last few items for this recipe. And that gives me a Drigme charm. I'm going to be calling this Piglich Hella. Hella is a nice name for someone of this nature. So, according to Ars Nouveau's wiki book, I suppose what you could call it, the worn notebook, right-clicking on mossy cobblestone will transform this into a drigme. Just like that. And then this will slowly generate glitch hearts, apparently. And it should place them inside this chest. Look at this little drigme. This little dancing. You can also have more than one drigme on top of the drigme hens. Just like this, we can now have two running at the same time. Well, this has been running for a little while, and I think we have a good stockpile of Piglich hearts. Well, this thing for Piglich heart generation it's amazing. Now it's time to transition away from doing Ars Nouveau and start having a look at Occultism. This is another mod which I have not played with ever, so this is the first time, and I'm going to try to keep it as informative as possible, so that you can still understand it while I'm still learning the mod. Ah yes, to begin Occultism, we need to find something called Demon Seeds. To obtain Demon Seeds, all you need to do is break any grass in the overworld, or any dimension, and there's a small chance for it to drop some Demon Seeds. Demon's Dream Seeds. We next need to plant them and grow them. Yeah, we'll get a good amount of these. The next thing which we need to craft is a Dictionary of Seeds. This thing is just going to be used for me to actually understand this mod a little bit better. It's basically an in-game wiki for what can actually be done in Occultism. The next thing which we need to make is a Spirit Fire. And to make this, you need to drop one of these Demon's Dream Fruit on the ground, then light it on fire. This is used to craft many things in Occultism. So this bit of fire right here is going to be very essential to us for us to progress. To actually make this soul gem, we are also going to need a Book of the Binding. So let's actually start preparing the materials to make this empty soul gem, since I have quite a few things to actually prepare for this. The first ritual which I need to make is called Avar's Circle. This will allow me to summon a Foliote Crusher, which is needed to craft crushed endstone dust for making purple chalk. Now it's finally time to craft this. One soul gem. That took a little bit of time to figure out how to do this. But this should mean that if I want to request a dragon soul, we are just missing a piglet heart. I'll just go and grab a couple of them from the Ars Nouveau building. Yeah, one dragon soul. We are one step closer to getting the old mod star. And after all of that magic, I think it's time we have a break from the magic mods. Let's do FTB Industrial Contraptions instead. The next item which I'd like to start having a look at is the Nexium emitter. This is going to require us to craft Singularity from Applied Energistics. polonium, so we're going to need a nuclear reactor from mechanism. Netherite scrap we're running low on. This requires more mechanism. And FTB Industrial Contraptions for the EV solar panel. I'm going to do the EV solar panel because Industrial Contraptions is another mod which I don't use that much. Yeah, so let's do FTB Industrial Contraptions next. First machine which I'm going to craft from FTB Industrial Contraptions is going to be a centrifuge. This will allow the creation of coolant cells and other various materials from FTB Industrial Contraptions. And to power these machines, I'm just going to use one of these simple generators. This will just produce power with any combustible material. I'll connect these with an LV cable to send power to the centrifuge. I'm also going to be setting up automation for these. The ME system is going to be able to fully autocraft through all of these industrial contraption machines. On a side note, I added a magma cube data model to the hostile neural networks room. This will just allow me to start producing slime balls through centrifuging magma slime. The next two machines are a compressor and a roller. The roller will allow us to produce any plate efficiently. There will be a 1 ingot to 1 plate conversion. The compressor will allow me to compress 8 copper plates into 1 dense copper plate, which is required for this solar panel. Another machine I'm going to need is an extruder. This will just produce rods at a more efficient rate instead of the way which we were making them. Okay, the next thing which we're going to do to power these is we're going to upgrade it, and we are going to go straight to the nuclear reactor because this thing will last a long time with the fuel rods in it. Plus, I'm going to want to speed up all of these machines, and to speed them up, they're going to require more power, and the only way to get more power is either solars or nuclear reactor. The reactor design which I'm going to be using requires 24 overclocked heat vents, 12 component heat exchangers, and finally 12 reactor plating. It doesn't matter which tier, I'm going to be using the containment ones for this reactor. I'm also going to be upgrading these LV cables to IV cables. This will allow 8,192 energy units per tick instead of 32. Along with the cable upgrades, I'm also going to be adding transformer upgrades to all of these machines, so I don't blow any of them up. This is actually the finished design for this reactor. This produces 480 energy units per tick. This is just a reactor design, a quick one which I found on the internet. It requires 20 overclocked heat vents, 18 component heat vents, 6 iridium neutron reflectors, and 4 reactor heat exchangers. Exactly like this. The next thing which I need to set up is antimatter production. To produce antimatter, you need to craft one of these antimatter constructors, and this will just require energy, and over time it will slowly produce antimatter. This thing needs a million energy units, and it will produce 1 antimatter. I'm going to actually fill this up, then I'm going to make an EV solar panel, and then start powering this through the solars. Okay, it's time to craft up one of these solar panels and send. This thing is going to be quite expensive to make, except in the grand scheme of things, this is going to be passive power for all of these machines. Plus, I'm also going to be using it for this Nexium emitter. Among all of the things which we're going to be doing, I need lava production. Now, I could be using these crucibles from Ex Nihilo. It's just cobblestone into lava, but I want this to be auto-craftable. So instead, I'm going to use a magma crucible from thermal expansion. This is going to have a recipe to make 1 bucket of lava from 1 magma block, which we currently have on passive anyway. And you may all be wondering why I need to start producing lava with the magma crucible. Well, I can tell you why. My plan is to use the lava to produce cobblestone generators, These are going to be used to then make lots of singularities from applied energistics, but more on the singularities later. I've come to the realization that the way that we are producing slime balls is currently quite inefficient, and it's currently using a machine to be able to make them. So instead I need to change that. I need to change the data model to a slime one, and I just remembered that slime spawn in this mob farm. So it's just a case of crafting one of these data models for this slime, charging it up so that we can use it inside the mob simulation chamber, and then we have slime balls on passive. Yeah, so instead of using the magma cream and then centrifuging it, I'm going to be crafting the sky slime blocks into the slime balls and then using them in all of the recipes instead. It's more slime for your slime. Oh, and the solar panel finished. That's brilliant. I completely forgot that we were crafting up one of these. Yeah, so this can be swapped. Instead of using this nuclear reactor, we're going to set up a solar array underneath it. I'm also going to invest in these battery boxes. Since these are solar panels, they don't produce energy when it's nighttime, and having just a bit of a buffer will hopefully iron out any crafting which I do at nighttime, and I will actually still be able to craft using these machines. This EV battery box can store 40 million energy units compared to what we had, which is no energy storage. I've also noticed that some of the production, well, mainly the Igneous extruders, when I'm running the sieves, these cannot keep up with how much the sieves are actually consuming. So I need to upgrade the Igneous extruders. Now, there isn't really a good way to do this, but I'm just going to have to bite the bullet basically and craft up 46 of these, and I'm going to build 2 stacks to produce netherrack and endstone, 24 Igneous extruders each. That should be able to keep up with how much we need sieving. The netherrack is to produce netherite. We need a lot of netherite, and the endstone is used for various crafting things and also platinum. So I have a little bit of building ahead of me, which is why I'm going to try and share it in a bit of a time lapse. So here we go. Yeah, look at this thing. Look at all of the netherrack, and this isn't even with the resonant integral components. If we want to quadruple the output of this, you just need to install these resonant integral components. Instead of producing 1, it now produces 4, and I think it also speeds this up. No, it doesn't speed it up, but it does produce 4 netherrack instead of 1. I'm not going to show me building the other one for endstone because this one was already pretty long to build. Upgraded netherrack and endstone production. Things which I'm going to need in the future, which is also the present. A lot of netherite and a lot of platinum, I'm assuming. Another thing which I need to be on passive is these singularities from applied energistics. Remember when I said that I needed lava? Well, it was to craft up 64 cobblestone generators for singularity production. To make them, I'm going to be using one of these matter condensers. With a 64k storage component, this will allow me to condense into singularities, this setting here. Next, we just need to basically supply this with a pretty unlimited source of items. And the best solution for this is just to place a bunch of cobblestone generators, and these are the tier 5s. I have a stack of them on hand, so let's just use the entire stack. Why not? Oh, that's much better. 64 cobblestone generators is enough for this to actually generate a significant amount of singularities. Well, now seems like a pretty good time to wrap up this episode. It's been quite an adventure building all of this stuff, especially these Igneous extruders and the cobblestone generators. Look at that stack behind me. This is brilliant. And I'm very sorry about the late upload. Audio issues, microphone wasn't working. It was an absolute nightmare to get set up, and then it stopped working. Then I had to go and return stuff and then get new stuff, and it was just chaos. So yeah, that was fun, but it's not going to happen again. So I hope you have all loved watching this video, and I hope to see you all again some other time.